12 to 14 hours later. This was a loaf I'd actually made ahead of time, so it's not the same one, but you can see that it did rise quite significantly. Now we're going to get it ready to bake. The oven has been on at 500 degrees with a Dutch oven inside of it. So I'm going to do the work over here. It is important to have a closed container because it is important for steam to be in contact with the outer portion of the dough for the first part of the bake. We also will need to slash the dough. To slash the dough, we use a tool that's basically just a razor blade on a coffee stick. They make fancy ones, but this works perfectly well. So, open up a razor blade. And bend it and slide the coffee stick through. You now have a nice knife to do the cutting. We're going to get this dough out by using parchment paper on a cutting board. Just invert that, just like that. And flip, tap, out it comes. I'm going to tear this paper and create a bit of a sling so that I can lift the dough and put it into the baking pot as quickly as possible. Ideally, very little of this paper will be hanging out because it will burn, which isn't a huge deal, but makes it a little bit easier if you just trim off the edges. Now I have a sling here where I can lift it and put that onto the surface. In order to prevent the oven from losing heat, we try to move quickly. So I'm going to walk through the steps ahead of time. The hot pot is going to come out. I'm going to take off the lid. I'm going to put this into the lid of the pot, slash it, spray it with water, throw some ice on it, put the lid back on, and throw it back in the oven. During all of this, we are closing the oven so it doesn't lose heat. This has been sitting in the oven for about an hour. So the cast iron actually is also retaining quite a bit of heat. This goes in there. We're going to take a very deep slash. Don't be shy. Get in there. I go for a couple. Really get down deep. This is what allows that to open up. I go one more across. That one doesn't have to be as deep because we already got one deep one. I like to spray the surface of the dough, get that nice and moist. That way it has plenty of moisture to generate steam. I drop a couple of ice cubes in. Again, we're generating steam, keeping the top of that dough moist. And now, seal it in like that and pop it into the oven.
We're now going to drop the temperature to 450 and bake for 20 minutes. Then we will remove the top and continue baking it for 50, uncovered, for an additional 25 minutes.
Just to confirm, the internal dough temperature should reach 209 to 210 degrees. And we're 2 minutes short of 25. We just want to make sure that we're not overcooking. I'm going to check the dough temperature. Just insert a temperature probe straight into the middle of the dough. Yep, and we've got 210, so actually it is done. And we don't want it to overbake, so pull it out. Take that out. Disconnect the parchment paper. And this now has to rest. Make sure you have plenty of airflow for 2 hours, it actually is continuing to bake here in the open air. You can test the bake by seeing how hollow it sounds. It actually has a great open sound. You'll notice that you got the rise and the separation here. And once it's done after 2 hours, we'll cut it open and see how it looks.